champion of this.
How is what is happening right now then denting South Africa's position in the African Union? Because remember, you've just said that it is an important and serious investor initially, especially when it comes to Pan-Africanism in the African Union. With what we're seeing right now, how is that denting its influence even in the African Union or even in African affairs?
It is seriously, because it is a situation where you wanted to preach water and drink wine. Now, as we speak, the Mozambican leadership is withdrawing its population from South Africa to avoid the deaths that are occurring. On the pipeline now are almost 500 Mozambicans to be ferried back to the country. Kenya is doing the same. Nigeria is doing the same. Ghana is doing the same. African countries, the leading African countries, are basically now repatriating their population from South Africa. In other words, South Africa does not want the input of Africans in their country. Now, how can South Africa now think that it is going to have an input on the continent? And remember, South Africa has been taken by countries like China and other major global powers as the voice of the African continent. For many years, South Africa has represented us in the G20. And very few people have complained. South Africa has represented us in the BRICS, right?
Yes.
We've not complained. South Africa has more than twice represented us in the United Nations Security Council. We've not complained. And South Africa has been a voice in most of these occasions. The leadership around Cyril Ramaphosa in South Africa is a credible voice of the continent. In fact, their voice is more credible to us than the voices we have in Nairobi, Addis Ababa, and elsewhere. Particularly when it comes to serious issues affecting humanity, whether you're talking about what is happening in Palestine, what is happening in Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, and so on. And even the global humanistic opinion, South African leadership and around Ramaphosa. But these are people who are in an enclave, in a country of xenophobes. And these xenophobes are coming in two colors, black xenophobes and xenophobes of whiteness. And the combination of that black and white xenophobia is what is basically the undoing of South Africa when it comes to its interest on the continent. South Africa can never ever become a leading power without riding on the back of South Africa. So I think they need to take a kind of a missionary approach within South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa, and I'm speaking to him, he has basically to take a very serious missionary approach to the Bantustans, to the homelands, to all these slums called Soweto, Kairichia, and so on, and teach South Africans that they are Africans.
Yes.
Now, we don't mind if the African Union can take a very kind of a Marshall Plan and then give South Africans from the Bantustans opportunities in our universities in their thousands. Out of the 54 countries, with all the universities we have, within 3 years, we will have produced a South African who is a South African, who is an African.
Yes.
But they need to come and stay with us, like we have stayed with them and come to appreciate them.
That's a very good place to end, that we all must sit together, work together for us to see the Pan-Africanism that we are looking for, and that South Africa must look at its missionary approach and fix the problems that we see today. Professor Peter Kagwanja is the CEO, Africa Policy Institute. Asante sana this conversation.